RNG! 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 RNG!
Welcome to the RNG Podcast. We're five gamers who today are going to talk about Magic, specifically the new Dragons of Tarkir spoiled cards, and Hearthstone, including the newly announced Black Rock Mountain. We're also going to discuss our take on competitive gaming a little later on. So I'm Miguel, and this week I'm here with Brian.
Hello, guys.
Glenn.
Hey.
And Josh.
Hi.
All right, so let's jump in. There are so many new cards to discuss in Magic. Do you want to start with these Planeswalkers? Let's talk about those.
Oh yeah, they announced two Planeswalkers for the set, and the one that's the earlier one that was announced was Narset, the Enchantress. She's
Narset Transcended.
And she is 4 mana, 2 colorless, 1 white, 1 other, one blue, 1 white, and 2 other. 6 loyalty, which is pretty high. +1. Look at the top card of your deck. You may reveal it if it's non-land, non-creature spell, and put it in your hand. -2. Make the next instant or sorcery rebound for the turn. And the -9 ability. Your opponents cannot play non-creature spells.
Emblem.
Yeah.
So real quick, just because I'm still refreshing my memory on Rebound. That is just, I'm casting it, it's going back in my hand?
Oh, no.
No.
Rebound is when you cast a spell and it resolves, it exiles itself.
Okay.
And then the start of your upkeep, it casts again. It will cast again, and that's it. It's gone.
Okay.
Got it. That's what it has to fully resolve. If it gets countered,
interrupted,
doesn't
right.
matter.
Okay.
Rebound won't stick to anything.
Got it.
And her ability will fizzle, even if let's say you play Wild Slash and you try to rebound that and you counter it. If you play another card, that card won't get rebound because the rebound will try to attach with the first one already.
Okay.
Yeah, she sets up a trigger that says the next instant or sorcery will gain rebound. If that card fails, then so does she.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think she's really good.
Busted.
Yeah.
That's quite a butt for a 4 cost, yeah? Or
it is the highest. Is the highest one. 4. Usually it's 3 to 4.
Right.
And Chandra was pretty big. Pyromaster, it goes to 5 when you use the ability. But when you use the ability +1, she goes to 7.
Right. Right off the bat, she gets 7 basically.
Because Planeswalkers are usually judged on how it can protect itself.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them can't, so they suck. And then others can. They make a guy or something. The way they're doing it this time is she's just 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's most people cannot deal with it.
Right.
Cannot do 7 damage at one point.
So do you think this is a way everybody's going to go, damn, she's great, and then we're going to see some anti-Planeswalker?
Well, people are playing Heroes Downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're
I guess
trying
that's
to
all you need, right?
Yeah, that's all you really need. I mean, burn decks can get you 2, but if they can do 7 damage, I would think they would just
do it to your face.
They would just do it to your face. I think she's really good, especially with Wrath of God effects, and Hostilities and Crux of Fate. The fact that if you rebound those cards, your opponents can't play any more creatures. You just pretty much they can't play creatures.
Target player can't summon for the next.
Yeah. And the next time you just you can play draw spells and rebound those cards.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you can rebound 3 times before she doesn't even die.
Right.
If they don't do any damage. And the -9 ability is one of the weakest ultimates that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's still busted.
It's really good, and the only time you would really want it is against control matchups, and that's when you want it anyway. Against mid-range matchups, you want to do rebound stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't need to lock them out.
Yeah, so against those control, then you basically got 2 turns to deal with this. Otherwise,
it's 3 turns.
3 turns.
Goes to 7,
right,
then 8,
7,
then 9, then
right.
-9.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's shut down. Interesting.
Yeah, she's very good. People are talking about modern too, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Jace Architect of
She
Thought.
costs more than 3. What are you talking about?
Well, Jace Architect of Thought is played in America Control, but he draws cards.
Yeah.
Draws 2 to 1 card, So We'll move on to Sarkhan.
Unbroken.
Yeah,
which might be a ironic name.
Yeah. Sarkhan the Unbroken, 2 colorless, green, blue, red, 4 loyalty. His +1 ability draws a card, then add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. -2, put a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. And then -8, search your library for any number of dragons creature cards and put them onto the battlefield. And shuffle your library. So
he basically has 2 effects.
Yeah. Basically, I have no clue why you're going to -8 this guy, but...
Because he's just going to make you a fucking 4/4 flying army.
Yeah.
Of Stormbreath Dragon.
I don't think you want to spend 5 turns getting to Dragon Storm, But, yeah, he's very good. I feel like Timur can be in the forefront with this guy. He makes a 4/4 guy right away. The worst case scenario, they do have the Hero's Downfall and they have a 2-power creature into play, and they can get it for 1/1. But most of the time, that's not gonna happen. So the 4/4 guy is good enough to stay on board, and his flying, it's crazy.
Yeah, your worst case scenario is sitting there maintaining hand size.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
And that's probably not going to be the case. You're more than likely just going to end up making flyers for 2, a turn, draw a card, then make a flyer, then draw a card, then make a flyer, then draw a card.
Yeah, the fact that it's in the green too. Yeah. So it's like Sylvan Carrot did, any mana ramp will get to turn 4, even turn 3 if you're lucky. With Elvish Mystic, Sylvan Carrot did starts. And then a turn 3 Sarkhan would be just such a problem for your opponent.
Turn 3 4/4 flyer.
Yeah, and a Sarkhan on the back.
So going into turn 4, you're drawing a card, accelerating again to something else.
Whoa!
Brian's failed.
All right.
Vibrate
mode.
Movie.
That would have been even worse on this.
Actually, vibrate mode would have just made it. Both microphones would have heard it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sorry, Mega Man died.
But yeah, Sarkhan.
Yeah, Sarkhan is really great. I think it's not going to shake up Standard since it's a 5-cost Planeswalker.
You're dead already. But
or
you're staring down 2 Siege Rhinos already.
Yeah, and then the fact that Ugin is way over the top Sarkhan, and then anything below, it's kind of he's in the middle, and I think he's good enough to win games, but it's kind of a weird space right now in Standard. I know that I really think the Dragon's Tarkir will change the metagame a lot. Fate Reforged is sort of just a tweak, Outpost Siege and stuff like that came in, and Ugin, but this time around I think a lot of these mythics and rares are gonna influence the Standard block.
Oh, even some of the comments that I've seen, like anticipation, or anticipate.
Well, anticipate's another matter of time.
Yeah, anticipate.
I think that's a rarity amongst common.
Anticipate is 1 blue, 1 other. Instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 in your hand and the rest at the bottom of your deck. It's what blue really wanted. I don't think they needed any cards, but they got this card, and it's very good. It's either I Bile Blight or Ultimate Price got reprinted, and that's an old removal spell from Return to Ravnica block. And you can. The fact that you can look for your lands if you need to look for lands, you need a threat, need a kill spell. It's everything you want. It's great.
All right, you want to jump into talking about Dragon Lords now? We've got 5 different mythic Dragon Lords.
Yep.
You see anything fancy here? Who's your favorite Dragon Lord?
I'm really liking Solumgar.
All right, Solumgar. There we go. 4 colorless, 1 blue, 1 black. Flying Death Touch. He's 3/5. When Dragon Lord Solumgar enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature or planeswalker for as long as you control Dragon Lord Solumgar.
Buck Solumgar. It's all about Kalagan.
I like that he also kind of looks like an otter too. That The artwork attracts me there.
Yeah,
got
I think this
fat.
guy is like kind of ridiculous. The fact that a lot of removal spells he dodges because he's a perfect, like 3/5 is perfect. Like Elspeth -2 it destroys all 4 power or more, so he dodges that. Dodges Soak the Flames, can't Bioblight him. Most burn spells can't get him, so you have to use like straight out kill target creature. He dodges Ultimate Price, which is coming back.
Yep.
Taking a Planeswalker and using its ultimate, or it's so crazy. It's one of those guys like if your opponent doesn't have an answer, it's too much of a tempo swing. But the other guys are pretty cool. Like the other dragons are pretty cool.
I think they're all relevant except for Ojutai.
All right, let's go to Ojutai.
Ojutai is 3 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue, flying, has hexproof as long as he's untapped, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your libriary, put one in your hand, the rest of the bottom of the library in any order.
He's a 5/4.
And he's only 5/4 though, which I see as the big problem. Like hexproof, not really relevant when just untapped. It just means I can't mess. Like I have to have instance to kill him, which is nice, but I don't think it's like an overpowered ability or anything like that.
Like I don't know what deck would want to play this card because
That's what I was
it
thinking.
is a blue white. I don't know what.
I don't see any tempo
shell
or
can run
control
this?
shell that wants to run it.
But the fact that it is a 5/4 on your turn, and they can't kill it on their turn, right? Unless they Wrath of God it. But on your turn, you get to attack with it. They kill it, and then it opens your play up next, like later for your main phase 2. That's a big plus.
I think I like that that concept. I just don't see any shell that wants to run it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Blue white is gonna just be like same old stuff that they always have been. They're not gonna start going, I'm gonna be aggro with a 5/4 flying dragon. It's like,
But it's hard to lose if you do connect with this guy.
yeah. But that being said, like I think the other Dragon Lord of Tarka, 5 colorless, red green, 8/8 flying trample. 7 for an 8/8 is really nice, and its ability when it enters the battlefield, deal 5 divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponent controls is really nice, although it is targeting, which sucks in some respects. It's also the only dragon that's that expensive, and all the other ones have like the other 3 are crazy.
Right.
Dramoka, 4 colorless, green, white, 5/7, can't be countered, flying lifelink, and your opponent casts spells during your turn. Absolute madness for green white.
Yeah, he can stabilize you because he has lifelink. I just don't know about 6 costs and 7 costs. I know the Ojutai one is 5 costs, but I don't think that's gonna get played. But all the dragons are 6 costs.
Yeah.
It's just like they have to end games, and I don't think they really do. You know,
Yeah, I
like,
think the big problem with them that will at least run into it first until people start actually trying them out, if they even bother, is that you're already dead against Siege Rhino and stuff like that.
yeah, like I mean, if
You're
you
in
do
such
get
a bad position against decks like Abzan at that point that, I mean, Dramoka is probably your best chance, because if you play against a control shell that's blue-white, at least he can't be countered and you can stabilize a bit, and then they can't counter anything you do with him. So he's probably the most useful from just outside and in a sterile environment. And Kologon has his effect too, which we'll get to in a second, I guess.
Yeah.
But all the other ones, you're kind of just like, Salamgar is probably going to get supported by some sort of control shell, so that's why he'll be effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump over to
Kologon.
Kalagan, yes. Learning how to pronounce all the new names here. So that's 4 colorless, 1 black, 1 red. He's a 6/5, flying haste.
Legendary. All of them are legendary creatures.
Right. Flying haste. Other creatures you control have haste. Whenever an opponent casts a creature or planeswalker spell with the same name as a card in his or her graveyard, that player loses 10 life. That seems like a rather severe penalty.
But it's the same creature or planeswalker you've already played.
Right.
The most... I would
And
assume
you're
that...
not gonna it just locks your opponent. I mean,
Right.
they're not gonna run into it.
Yeah, and like your average control shell is just going to laugh at you going like, creatures. What are you talking about?
I mean, that doesn't matter. Like, the last part doesn't matter. The matters
is that you have
control.
haste and flying haste.
Yeah, it's a flying haste creature.
Yeah.
It's just he's red. He's red black. What are you running it in?
Yeah.
If you're playing,
and there's no Daga deck right now or anything like that.
I mean, there sort of is because Crackling Doom is like really good.
Yeah.
But
nobody's making an actual Daga deck. They're just running Crackling Doom and a bunch of multi-lands so they can run it.
And he's 6 mana. Like, are you like, oh,
yeah? His effect
Elspeth's
is
not good enough for you.
His effect is dramatically worse than Dramoka's.
Yeah.
At least that Dramoka completely affects the game. Like, you're just like, you can't counter it. I have Flying Lifelink, and now you can't counter any of my spells for the rest of the game until you deal with this one creature. Yeah. Like, it actually does something.
All right, and then we have about, what do we got, like 10 so far supporting multicolored dragons.
Most of them are not good.
Uncommon, some rares.
Unplayable.
Yeah, is there anything in here that is?
I do like there's a forecast red dragon. It's like red, 2 other.
So this is not a multicolor?
No, it's not a multicolor one. That's one dragon I like.
That guy? Oops.
Yeah.
Thunderbreak Regent.
Yeah, Thunderbreak. Oops, Regent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, he's 2 colorless, 2 red, 4/4, flying. Whenever a dragon you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Thunderbreak Regent deals 3 damage to that player.
I think it's really awesome. The fact that, if he had haste, he would be too good, but the fact that your opponent will take 3, either take 3 or he's going to take 4 next turn. He's awesome.
He's Eidolon all over again.
Huh?
He's Eidolon all over again.
No. Eidolon is whenever you cast. This one is it targets.
Yeah.
Has to target Sam. An ability has to target him.
Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, but just kind of like, if you're downfalling Eidolon, like... If you want to use targeted removal, you're going to eat it just like you would if you had Eidolon.
Yeah, but this guy can actually kill you. Eidolon in Standard didn't do anything.
Yeah, because...
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's also 4/4,
it's a big thing. I mean, 4 toughness and lower doesn't really matter, like, because of Stoke the Flames. It's the standard for removal spells. I think he's great. Like, that's why I brought him up. The fact that he's a 4/4 formidable. He's very formidable, like, threat, and when he gets targeted, you get something out of it. So.
All right. So is that it on the dragons? There are all those multicolors, but they're all just sort of
like
crappy.
Cost and high.
Yeah, they're just like kind of lame. They're too much mana to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. One of them could break out, but I doubt it.
Yeah. All right. You want to hit any of the other
I kind of want to talk about the red spells.
Okay.
That's not that one, but there's a 1-cost 2/2 legendary, like 1 red 2/2 legendary Zorko Striker, and they're just a cycle of all the cons leaders from the first set. Cons of Tarkir. They're like just a legendary creature this time around, and this guy is awesome. He has 1 colorless, 1 red dash, and he can't block creatures with 2 power or greater. But he's a 1-drop 2/2, there's so many red 1-drops now, and going into the other one, there's 1 red
Lightning Berserker.
Lightning Berserker.
Nadia's card.
Yeah, 1 red, 1/1, and he has Fire Breathing, which is 1 red. This creature gets +1/+0 until the end of the turn, and he has Dash for 1 red. So it's like a fireball, like really great when you're flooding out with your mono red deck. A finisher. He's great on 1 because like Sylvan Caradon can't block him, and like going into turn 3, like Corsair can't block him, unless it's great. Like he can kill everything. Like going to turn 5, if you already have it, you can Siege Rhino can't block it. It's really great. I don't know if red actually needed this card. This is like way over pushed, in my opinion.
Yeah, this card is like, I mean, you figure if you swing on 3 with it, and I have a Corsair, I'm tempted to block.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to deal with it for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you may want to just say, screw it. Glad that I played something that could kill that guy.
Yeah.
And he is an uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's uncommon.
So there's that.
Well, considering Stoke the Flame is an uncommon, he might be a $5 common.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's just like they're promoting like 3-colored standard decks with a bunch of like tap lands, and then they release these absurd 1-drops. You know, I know they want to keep stuff in check. They don't want every deck to be a mid-range or higher, but yeah, I just feel like these are like way too pushed. But you know, people love their red decks.
Right. So
Bastards.
So speaking of love for decks, you've considered yourself a green player, or I've heard you say that. So what's up with these new green ones? Are you anything you're jumping up and down about, or you're like,
Nope.
all right.
I feel like they're too gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
The
Den Protector is good.
yeah, he's okay. Just I don't know what to play him in. Like
Den Protector is a 1 colorless, 1 green, 2/1 creature human warrior. Creatures with power less than Den Protector's power can't block it. He's also got Megamorph for 1 colorless, 1 green.
And when you flip him up, you return a card from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't know what to play him in. You know, like do I play him in Green Devo? Do I play him in a regular just green deck? I mean, there's only one green deck. Like green decks are Green Devo Red, Green Devo White, Green Devo Black. So I don't know what to play him in, and the other ones are just too gimmicky for me.
Okay, technically let's play her in. Woman with axe guarding baby.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Did your wife just jump into the podcast?
I don't see like characters; they're just cards for me.
They're all hymns.
Yeah.
So,
No, fictional.
who's sexist now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Collected Company. That one could be something, but still.
Sounds like a combo card for something else later. Like,
Yeah.
And then
I
Scale
mean-
Guard and Sentinels look alright, but I don't know why you're going to mix dragons and human soldiers and all that. Like, kind of weird.
Yeah, he's the 2/3 guy, right?
Yeah, Scale Guard and Sentinels are green for a human soldier. Additional cost to cast them. You may reveal a dragon card from your hand. If you do, or you control a dragon, it gets a +1/+1 counter, and it's a 2/3.
Yeah.
So it'll end up being a 3/4. If
3/4.
you actually have a dragon in your hand or on the battlefield, which is kind of a stretch.
Yeah, I do see this guy. This guy does have green. As a
And
cost
he's
for-
overstated sorta at 2/3.
Yeah, for devotion and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're supporting Devo again because they did release a blue card that's
Triple blue.
triple blue. Let me pull them out.
And while you're pulling them out, I'll just remind everyone that we will have a link to. So if you're just listening along, we'll have a link to all these spoilers wherever this is posted.
Shore Crasher Elemental. Blue. Creature Elemental. Which makes something interesting in Modern, possibly. Anyways, 3/3 blue. Exile Shore Crasher Elemental, then return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. And then 1 colorless, it gets +1, -1, or -1/+1. And then Megamorph for 1 green, 4 other.
Until the end of turn on those pluses and minuses.
Yeah, of course.
One blue, 4 other. It's like not as good as was Nightbill Spectre because Nightbill Spectre flies.
And it
But
was
this
3/4.
yeah, no, it's 2/3.
It's 2/3.
But Shore Crasher is 3/3, which is kind of high for a blue creature.
Yeah, and 3 blue for Devotion's really nice.
Yeah,
and it's
if
an
you-
elemental.
If you get to
with
untap with it, it's hard to kill.
What's that one creature again? The
Master Waves.
Master Waves.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like
He is an elemental.
Thassa and Master Waves are just waiting for other creatures to come, and they finally just kind of gave it to us. They're like, okay, you don't play Blue Devotion for 6 months, and now I
Let's
guess
go
you
back
can.
to it and see how it is.
See how it is. I don't know if Black can get back to their Black thing, but yeah, I think I don't know where Standard's heading. I don't know what they're planning with it, but
Miscellaneous bullshit that's overpowered.
yeah, I'm excited. You know, I do like Standard. It's very this Standard season is like kind of a wild ride. I don't know what to expect. Like this tournament today, that Glenn top 8 in.
Yay, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn. And we were expecting red white to be one of the top decks, and it wasn't. There was only like 2 people that played, right?
In the finals, there was only 2 red decks. One was like a red white aggro, but it's like running Frontier Siege and Brimazes and all that. The second one was like this wonky mid-range red deck.
Outpost Siege, right?
Outpost Siege.
Frontier Siege?
Yeah, Outpost Siege.
Okay.
Sorry. And this wonky red deck that brings in white to bring in the white for the removal, which is like weird as well. But a lot of the field was actually a lot of Abzan control / what do you call it? Little guys or mid range, and a couple of and actually the top 2 decks that actually probably made it top 4 was the 2 obviously green black blue control.
Yeah.
So actually a lot of the field was like a mess, but like there was no real prominent deck there.
What did you run?
I was there with Abzan mid range.
Abzan Rush. That's not mid range.
It has 3.
You run Rakshasa Death Dealer and Lion. You're a Rush deck.
That's Rush.
Yeah. If you call Abzan mid range, that means they have like 8 creatures.
Yeah.
10 creatures and planeswalkers. That's the mid range deck. But we like this standard is like wild. I really like it. Sideboarding is so important, and I do catch a lot of people in CFB and like my friends and stuff that only play game 1, and I'm like such an advocate of playing like game 1 and going to sideboard. I know it's a hassle, like sideboarding in and out, but it just helps your game so much. Because you would just hear people's theory on sideboarding, and they're like, "Oh, bring this in," but like you got to have a feel for it. Like what should I take out, what should I not take out, stuff like that, and it's so important, especially in this standard, because people's sideboard plans going on the play and on the draw are different. You're like people take out Goblin Rabblemaster on the draw and they bring it back in, and you're like, oh, is he gonna bring it in? Like, do I keep my 2 toughness removal spells? So it's really awesome. Like, you get punished hardcore for like getting it wrong, and I think that's how Magic's supposed to be.
I still think the way to go in the standard is just play the deck that you're having the most fun with, and then make sure that you can board against your worst enemies, and just hope that you don't run into stuff that's just unlucky. Because there's no way you can. There's no like perfect deck right now that's gonna win everything.
Yeah,
I don't even think there's like a 70-30 deck right now.
Oh no, there's no 730. You want to be in the 50-50, 55, 45.
It's back to the Jund days kind of.
Yeah. Well, Jund is Abzan right now. Like
I just mean like in the sense of like you want to run a 50-something deck.
And
just be good against everyone.
Yeah, because like Abzan, they're just running good cards. Yeah. It's just every card they play is good.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. And in a vacuum, just the one card is great.
That's why, and I think the set's going to be really big for their sideboard and their main board, because Radiant Purge is going to be really big, I think.
Which one?
It's the 1 white, 1 other instant, I think it's a rare. Exile target multicolored creature or multicolored enchantment. Like, with so many good multicolored creatures, I think it's really important. And I think you can, I don't know if you'll be able to main deck it yet.
No, I don't think
But you can definitely run it inside.
Yeah.
And it'll just blow out Central when you can actually use it.
Yeah, it's rare.
Ah, man. I can't believe it doesn't target Planeswalkers as well.
Yeah. If it did that, then it's like, wow. Maybe you want to...
No, I mean, it's just... Like, why can't it?
Don't get greedy.
Well, especially considering red. Yeah. I mean, really, would that have been that over the top considering the red cards they made? Like, really? A dash fireball, basically? Like, come on.
And they printed Roast. 1 colorless, 1 red sorcery, deal 5 damage to target creature. Like,
without flying.
Yeah, without flying?
Without flying.
Without flying.
Yeah, so...
Uncommon.
Yeah, so it's like, we have problems against these right now. Okay, we'll give you the answer. It's crazy. Yeah. And, this set looks pretty cool. I know we didn't touch on everything, but those are the cards that are, like, we're kind of excited about, and what people are kind of talking about. Oh, there's one other one that I want to talk about. The CDC. You want to introduce that one? Miguel?
Oh yeah, sure. CDC is a 3 colorless, 2 black, legendary creature. He's 4/6, zombie. Zombie Naga. Death Touch, and then Exploit. When this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When CDC exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library.
Yeah, so everybody is really excited about this card because Demonic Tutor
Hasn't been around for a long time.
and on a body that's 4/6
Yeah,
that
4/6.
literally eats everything that's being played right now, and doesn't die back. No one has 6 power right now, so he's or she. I think she. It's CDC's a she.
Oh, now you care.
Well, apparently our host cares, so I have to. And yeah,
Yeah,
he's.
sexist. What the hell?
Don't you want me to change?
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, with CDC whip not getting played right now, kind of because of all the enchantment hate in everyone's sideboards. This might bring it back because this card is outrageous. It is pretty outrageous in standard, and
I'm actually kind of surprised that there's like a big hurrah about it, as much as there is, because it is carded, or it's not card advantage.
the card quality.
It is a super quality card.
Yeah.
But usually, most Magic players tend to be like, "Oh wait, sack a creature? I don't know." Like that's.
But that's the thing, like.
But I mean, regardless, worst case scenario, you're probably sacking a low B piece of shit.
Yeah, Standard Wayfinder.
Yeah.
So we carried it if you don't need it anymore.
Yeah, and if your opponent plays Downfall on it, you're like, all right, I'm basically 3 for 1ing, but I'm getting something exactly what I want.
Yeah, if you,
no matter what.
I mean, I can just see it like not even in a whip deck. You just like play green black, right? And you have like low B creatures in the front end, and you go CDC, sack my low guy, search for another CDC, and you can keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and in Magic, consistency.
Well, and I mean
is king.
the synergy between it and having like say what's the one creature that grabs enchantments or artifacts from your graveyard or enchantments from your graveyard when you comes to play?
It was from Theros Block?
Was that Theros Block? I thought it was.
That's Theros Block.
Oh, okay.
There's there's the 5 cast DC that dumps 4 cards.
No, not the DC. It's not a legendary. I know that for a fact.
Oh, that's legendary.
It's a 5. There's a 5 cost that looks at the top 4 cards.
It's not a card that goes through that. It's something grabbed from your graveyard it's been a while, so it might be Theros Block. So.
Yeah. So yeah,
But I mean, her and Whip and.
Yeah, her and Whip is ridiculous.
And then you grab back the Whip if it gets disenchanted or something like that. It's so nice.
Yeah, the fact that you don't have to run 4 Whips anymore. You can run like 2. And because Whip is such a dead card when you draw multiples.
Draw a second one, you're just like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean those are the cards that people are excited about. We're excited about it.
I'm excited about the CDC.
Yeah, Glenn speculating on that card. Bought 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 pre-bought. When they were pre-released, it was like $250. Then it jumped up to $350. Now it's up to $5.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just going up in price.
Yeah. At first, I thought it searches for a creature card. That's why I wasn't excited for it. Yeah, but you guys want to jump into Hearthstone?
Sure.
Yeah, let's
More dragons.
Let's talk about more dragons.
More dragons.
All right, Hearthstone. So at PAX, they announced that at PAX East that we've got another new
raid.
New raid, yes, coming out for Hearthstone. So this is very similar to Curse of Naxxramas. And this one is called Blackrock Mountain. And yeah, it looks like you're doing similar things that you were. You're hitting, what did they say, 5 bosses that you're going after?
I didn't hear that part.
Okay.
I don't know if there's 5 wings like Naxxramas, but it is the same pricings. It's like $6.99. Or
yeah, it is 5 wings. It says right here, all 5 wings is $24.99.
Same exact thing as Lich King.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right. Which to me, I don't know. It felt okay. I was kind of hoarding gold for Curse, so it was like nothing to me. But I don't know how you guys felt about that. Was that too steep, or is it fair?
No, it was. Well, I had a ton of gold, so
Yeah.
I didn't care. And when it first came out, the first month, the first wing is free.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
bet.
I
Yeah.
bet this is gonna be the same
Right.
promo. But
Similar.
I mean, Josh didn't start playing till a couple months ago, so he didn't get that deal. So
Right.
he's
I like this one.
Yeah, it's
So
kind of,
for those of you who aren't familiar with this, so Hearthstone, you're usually playing against an opponent, except in the beginning when you're playing against the AI, just learning how to play. But with these raids, you are playing against the AI, and it's a progressively tougher AI as the wings open. So first you go after one boss, and how many matches was it per wing? Was it
it's
3 or something?
3 to 4.
3 to 4, yeah, depending upon the wing. And usually your AI opponents have something tricky up their sleeves in terms of their power, right? Like one of the powers I know was I think it was 0 cost, or I'm not sure how much it cost them to trigger this power, but it was they pull a card from their deck into play, and they pull one of your cards from your deck randomly into play as well. So you got a 50-50 shot of that being your advantage, depending upon how your deck is built. But as you go through these, right? You don't remember that? Oh no, I read that somewhere, and it might not have been in this, but somebody had spoiled that. And then as you progress and as you go to the more, I forget what they call it. Do they call it heroic? Yeah, heroic version. Then it's the same power, only he draws 2 cards and puts them on his side, and you only draw that one. So all of a sudden, oops, it gets a lot tougher. So anyway, you go through wing by wing, and once you've knocked out, every time you knock out a wing, you usually get 2 cards.
Yeah, you get cards.
Yeah, you'll get cards, so it's a great way to gain new cards that you can later use for your decks. And then you'll go through heroic, and when you run through the whole heroic, you probably get a back, right?
Yeah,
you get a card back. So cool, lots of cool prizes for a fair price.
And just like Curse, I think. Curse completely changed the metagame.
Mm-hmm, yeah, so they had a death rattle theme with
which is
Curse.
Inadvertently the best let's say value cards. Death rattle is always value.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this set looks kind of wonky. The whole holding dragons.
Yeah, so this set is really dragon based, which is interesting because we were just talking about dragons. Dragons on the mind of gamers here, and so I'm looking at. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that they've put out, they've previewed, and 2 of them are mentioned dragons if you're holding a dragon, and 1 of them is a dragon. So out of 5 cards previewed so far, you can tell that there's definitely going to be a theme here.
Yeah, and they did change some of the cards already in Hearthstone to have dragon on cards. I don't know if you guys saw that. Playing Hearthstone lately.
Right.
Yeah, they've changed all the cards.
That 1/3 dragon that every time you cast, your opponent casts a spell +1 attack or something like that.
That's a worm, right?
Yeah, that's
Mana
a
worm?
worm.
Mana
Yeah,
worm.
mana worm.
That's not dragon though. Right?
I thought they shifted it to dragon.
Oh, I don't know about that. I haven't seen it lately.
Oh, yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
the other cards,
I could be wrong.
all the legendaries that are dragons, they have dragons now.
Sun Nixie is a dragon now.
Yeah. So I don't know about this. We'll see the whole set. Death Rattle.
If they make a bunch of playable dragons, I think Blackwing Technician becomes amazing.
Yeah.
3 for a 2/4 that becomes a 3/5 if you have a dragon in hand is really good. I mean,
Right.
3 for 2/4 is not terrible, just not great.
Yeah,
When
so
it goes
the-
3/5, it's just ridiculous.
But it doesn't do anything if it's a 2/4.
Yeah.
Right. So the battle cry is if you're holding a dragon, gain 1/1 on Blackwing Technician.
Yeah.
The Hungry Dragon seems pretty good. 5/6, summon a random 1 cost for your opponent. Who cares? For
So
4?
that's the battle cry. Battle cry. Summon a random 1 cost.
Seems one of the best monsters that gives your opponent benefits that I've seen in Hearthstone, because most of them are really horrible. Oh, your opponent can summon whatever the hell they want.
They get a zombie chow.
Yeah.
Right.
Worst case scenario would be that.
And then the final one that mentions a dragon out of the 5 is this 7 cost 8/4 Rend Blackhand Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, destroy a legendary minion.
Yeah, he's lackluster.
Yeah.
The first time I read him quickly. I didn't know you have to hold a dragon in your hand, and I was like, 8/4 destroy a legendary. That's okay, but now that I know you have to hold a dragon.
Haste,
Okay.
Right.
The fact that, like, he's 7 cost, so it's like kind of late game. You might be out of cards, so you don't have the dragon in your hand.
And you don't want to hold back
Yeah.
a dragon just for.
Right.
I mean,
So
what dragon are you holding back at that
Yeah.
point? It just happens if you turn 7, you drew him, and you have your 8-drop dragon in your hand.
And then your opponent has to have a legendary to like actually get value from it.
Yeah.
Because you're just
otherwise you're just playing
8-4.
an 8-4 vanilla that's just beaten by everything.
Yeah, it can be killed by everything. I mean, we saw that pirate that's
Mechanical
7-4.
Yeti comes up and just says, "What up, bitch?"
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Even with bouncing, or perhaps there's going to be a bunch of like mini dragon spawn cards, or I'm just.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe somebody comes up with a deck that's all legendaries, and then go, "Fuck you, Brian, you don't know what you're talking about."
And then the fact that
That
you
could
know
happen.
where we're talking about earlier for Magic is that card, the Sentry, the 2/3. It's like if you may reveal from your hand or control one. It should have been like that. Like if you control
Yeah,
a dragon, you could get the effect as well.
Right.
Rather than if I hold this dragon.
Right.
All my effects are a thing. But if I play this dragon, all my
Right.
effects are gone.
Right. It's as if it's trying to force you into crafting a certain kind of deck. You know, we really want people to make dragon-based decks. I mean, maybe they'll pull it off. Maybe people are going to want to do that. We've only seen 5 of these cards, but
It'll heavily depend on what dragons come out. 'Cause
Right, yeah.
now there's
9 cost dragons.
9-cost dragons.
Right.
Maybe the mana worm if it is.
Yeah.
Right.
All of them are going to be just like you haven't seen any like Onyxia whelplings or something going around at like 1 cost.
Isn't Twilight Drake a dragon?
Yeah, he's a dragon. But the thing is, they're 4 costs. So,
Yeah.
like, are you not playing your 4
Oh
dragon?
no, I was wondering if that was even
Okay.
considered. I wasn't.
That's what
saying holy
I'm
crap.
like kind of talking about. Where, like, if it's like 4 costs and under or 5 costs and under, like
You should be vomiting.
you
them
should
out.
be playing him anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're doing it because Curse of Naxxramas, they're great because each card is just great. Like
Well,
Sludge
because you
Belcher
play it
is
without
good.
play it without thinking. Like,
Yeah.
Sludge Belcher, you're just like, okay, I'll drop it. Oh, it died. What a shame. I got my 1/2 taunter.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just like individually they're good. They're trying to make synergistic like cards,
Right.
Which that's a pitfall in some sense because synergistic cards are either great or unplayable.
Right.
There's like no middle ground. When you're like, oh, it's kind of okay, that means it's not great.
On the bright side, they haven't really flopped yet with anything, have they?
No, I'm just saying. In
No,
like
I'm
card
just
gaming
saying
in
there's
general.
hope. Like,
Yeah.
all these ideas that they're throwing out there, like, the whole holding a dragon in your hand could end up being a half-baked idea that ends up on only a couple cards.
Pirates did not work.
That is true.
It's a big flop. They
Sure.
gave it support and it still sucks.
Fucking horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Salty dog.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a Pirates raid next time and really.
And the thing is, we're kind of like putting this thing down, but Curse of Naxxramas, that 5 weeks, that was awesome. Like just
Yes.
waiting every Tuesday, like 11 a.m. or something.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I am not putting this down. I am
yeah.
the first person
Yeah.
on that.
I'm getting the
fantastic.
whole wing.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed to have enough. Will have enough gold when I play.
Yeah.
And like playing those puzzle games. It's a puzzle game because like you got to figure out how to beat them, and then jumping into heroic. Man, they
Yeah.
really put you under the gun. It's like.
Heroic is nuts.
Yeah, one guy had like they have a 7-4 and a 4-7 in the start of the game.
Right.
And you have nothing.
Right.
You just have to win somehow.
Right. And yeah, how much life did that one start off with? Was it?
He's a 30.
It was just a 30. Okay. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking bad.
And then we have 2 other previews. We have Dark Iron Skulker. Battle. He's a 5-cost 4/3 battle cry. Deal 2 damage to all undamaged enemy minions.
Rogue
think
class
that's-
only. It's a rogue card.
Yeah, it's a
No,
rogue.
rogue,
card, yeah.
rogue only. Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then we have the 5-cost Grim Patron. He's 3/3. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon another Grim Patron.
Combo card that's probably not going to end up being used.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If
What
you
is
have
that? Is
something
that a
like-
warrior card?
I
mean,
think-
it's
It sounds like
open
it
to
because
anyone,
of Death
but-
Bite and Whirlwind. Like
Yeah.
you can kind of combo it with that. But
I could see doing that within Warrior at least.
I thought Paladin, because Paladin has that one that gives. Which is the class that has the one that makes makes something have 1 attack?
Why would that's what do you call it?
Yeah,
That's Paladin.
Paladin does
Yeah,
that.
Paladin.
But
1 attack.
Yeah.
That's like the
He has to survive the attack, so you make
No.
it one attack, swing into it, and make another Grim Patron.
no, but
Oh,
I
I
mean
see.
but for warriors, it's
Yeah,
nice.
Warriors is the better
It's
way
like-
to do it.
Well, Warriors.
I don't know.
Warrior
well.
sucks.
I
That
hate
doesn't
Warrior-
make any
I
sense.
hate Warriors so far. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but yeah, like
Just because they're like the most expensive deck in the format,
But I mean, considering like this is a 5, I mean, making other copies of this guy.
which is just a 3/3. So I
Yeah,
don't
he's just a
Yeah, I don't really
right,
see
exactly.
him being a big deal.
You look at him and you're thinking about all these ways that you can do it, and then you think there's probably a better way I could spend my time.
Yeah.
Like there's
Or mana.
Right.
Yeah, and
exactly.
the 5 cost. He sits on top of Sludge Belcher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sits on top of Harrison Jones.
No.
Like there's so many good cards
Right.
in 5 costs.
Like the only thing I could see this doing, you drop him, he survives the next turn to 6, and then you go off by what? Whirlwind.
Well, Deathbite, you could be attacking on 4 and have
Yeah.
1 durability on it, and then drop him and then kill another thing. It whirlwinds and you get another 3.
Yeah.
But you have a 3/2 and a 3/3. Is that really what you want?
And
But then are you
This-
whirlwinding again because the text box comes with him, right?
But he's not hasted, so
You're gonna have 4 of them.
How you have 4 of them? You only have 1.
No, because what happens is he comes in the field, he hit, Whirlwind triggers, he gets first one. So the death rattle for the death bite already goes off. So Purity does damage. So there's only 2. You will not get 2 more unless you Whirlwind again.
Right, but then you
On
get
turn 6.
right. Oh yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, on turn 5. The best you could do is you have Deathbite on 1 durability because you already attacked with it. You play this guy. You attack the Deathbite triggers.
Right.
This guy will be 3/2, and then
Right.
triggers. It becomes makes another 3/3.
Right.
So you only have 2 guys.
Right, but then you slap down your what is it? The one that does 1 to all minions.
Well,
Oh,
Whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
That's
Yeah,
on 6.
that's turn 6. Like on turn
Right,
5.
right. I see
yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, unless you
When
have
do that.
gem, then you can. Like you gem and whirlwind, then you have a 3/1, 3/2, 3/3, 3/3.
Right.
You know.
But again, thinking way too hard over something.
Yeah,
that is a
and we already have like Paladin already has muster a battle to quartermaster,
yeah.
which is really great.
Yeah.
But like they don't have to work that hard.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's
They're
2
too
cards.
freaking
Look, they
hard.
work.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
I hate that combo with passion.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. So in that other article that I was reading that spilled the 1 power, it was a guy talking about how he played the first wing. I think they also mentioned, and I'll have to look back. I'll link to the article if I can find it again. That they were talking about Curse was a test for Blizzard, so they were talking to the Blizzard developers. Curse was a test. It went really well. They really liked how it went, so they went ahead and greenlit this. But they're not yet confirming that this is going to be in every other. Like we're going to have a raid, then we're going to have a new set, then we're going to have a raid, then we're going to have a new set. They didn't say yes
Blizzard
to that
never
yet,
has to commit
but-
to anything.
Right, yeah, exactly. Especially when they're doing this well with this.
Yeah, I heard they made a little bit of money off of it. So.
You're right. Oh, and then the other thing that is interesting is that this is coming to mobile in a more. So they're going for phones now, which is going to be interesting.
It plays like shit on
Right.
tabs.
Right. So depending on what tab you have, it does play like shit. And then
well, you have to have the latest tabs.
Well, I have a tab 4, which is the latest, and it still doesn't play
No,
well.
it's not.
The tab 4 is pretty up to date.
But regardless of that, seeing it so small on
Yeah.
your phone or whatever, I mean, I've
You
even
could-
got
you-
the bigger.
I mean, you could already do it. There's a way to do it on Android.
Uh-huh.
There's like you can just
A hack for the
yeah,
upside.
you hack it. They're like so the
Right.
Hearthstone will think your phone is a pad, only for Android, and I've seen it work. So
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like grab your stylus.
Yeah.
I can't.
but they're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
if Blizzard is announcing it, that
Yeah,
means
it's
it's
doing it,
working.
it's
I mean,
happening.
Blizzard doesn't really release crappy UI.
Right.
Your UI is usually pretty good.
All right, so there's no release date for this. Just you
can pre-order it.
but it's soon, right?
You can pre-order on March 19th.
All right, so it's probably not this month then.
March 19th.
Well, the pre-order, yes,
Yeah.
but the actual release.
Oh, yeah,
it'll
our
take a
release
little
is-
bit of time. So.
I
alright.
still need time to make gold.
Yeah. So start making your gold. Start saving up now.
700 per wing.
Start doing it.
I already have enough.
All right.
Because you bought Curse of Noxramas.
Like an idiot. I'm a stupid idiot for that.
Yeah, I'm like so deprived of gold because I haven't been playing that often, but I will be.
Yeah.
Diablo kind of pulled me aside
Right. Again.
again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what brought you back to now switching gears? What brought you back to D3?
My other friends,
Uh-huh.
they just got into it, and it's
okay.
really fun. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, like, it's Diablo fun. So it's just like
Right.
collecting loot, getting
Right.
stronger.
Yeah.
So, and all my friends that used to play plays again.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun playing with your friends,
Yeah.
just like everything.
Yeah, interesting. I just got back into Marvel Heroes 2015 just because I didn't pay much attention to it the first time around. I played it a little bit.
Marvel
I found
Heroes.
that the leveling was sort of a pain in the ass. I don't know, quite get it, and I didn't care to. Went back to WoW, and then I was talking to friends who were just like, we love Marvel Heroes. It's great. And I'm like, yeah, leveling, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, you're doing it wrong. And it led me to a couple of resources, and so now I'm, leveling my thing. And it's actually I'm having a good time, and it's reminding me of Diablo. It's not it's not quite as polished. It's not quite as I don't think the gameplay is quite as fun, but because I'm such a comic geek, I can easily overlook that and go for other characters. They just released Iceman and stuff. So, but yeah, I've lapsed into another game as well. So. So hey, let's go. Earlier you were talking about sort of what competitive gaming sort of means to us, or how we feel about competitive gaming. And in this room, we all take sort of different stances. But why don't you talk about why you want to bring that up and what your thoughts are on that?
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of people that I talk to and like, play in this tournament, and they're not interested, and I don't really know like why you wouldn't want to test yourself. Like, I know there's people that are like afraid of failing, afraid of losing, or they just don't care, they just want to have fun. For me, like, I always, if I choose an activity, I always want to be good at it. Like, I don't have fun when I'm not good at something. And with card gaming, like, I get to test that. Like, oh, am I doing this right? And I like the competitive nature, like no takebacks and all that stuff. Like, I'm pretty on the rules when I play. So yeah, it's fun for me. Winning is fun. And yeah, we all played in Versus, and we played like all the tournaments that we can. But like, now moving on to Magic, like, I know Miguel, Josh, they don't play in tournaments anymore. And me and Glenn actually started.
That shit's expensive.
Huh?
That shit's expensive.
No, but if you liked it enough, I don't think that was the reason that you don't
Part of the
play.
reason.
Yeah.
There was no $40, $50 versus tournaments. Most of them were in the $25 range. Now it's like with Magic, like $25 is the starting point.
Yeah.
And then you start getting into the real tournaments, it's $40 plus. And I totally respect you guys for being all about it, but like sealed deck tournaments and stuff like that, fuck rolling the dice on, which literally you're rolling the dice when it comes to sealed.
I gotta tell you, we don't like playing in sealed tournaments.
Oh, I know you don't, but you still do. So,
But we still do because it is a PTQ or something.
Well, we have so many limited opportunities.
Yeah.
I understand it. It's just I'm not willing to stake that kind of money anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, collecting Magic isn't what it used to be for me. So
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned like really wanting to challenge yourself and that's like you don't see getting into something unless you can find a way to challenge yourself. And really that's when I started playing with you guys in Versus. Before I was playing with a crew and I loved them, but we were coming up with the jankiest stuff. Like, let's mash Team Titans together with something that just doesn't work and see if we can make it work. Hey, I want to do an all-girls deck. It's just crap like that, which was fun. It had its place. But I really didn't feel like I was, really pushing any boundaries. And then that's when I started playing with you guys, and you would just destroy me, just like immediately. And I'm like, all right, I got to up my game so at least I can be competitive, because my goal was to either was first to really learn from you guys and then to try to surprise you guys. I don't care if I won every single time, but I wanted you to come out with your killer deck, and I wanted to take you by surprise and you go like, what the hell, where did that come from, right? So there is that sort of element of wanting to be challenged, but I get it cheaper with you guys, right? So you're out there hitting all those tournaments, and when I was playing Magic more consistently, buying the cards, I would just, find these decks and I would learn from you guys. And, for me, that was enough of the challenge because I can't really put the time in to be a really good competitive. I mean, I could easily just copy one of your decks and I could try to run it. And, I'd probably do better than 50% if I really stuck with one deck. But it's just time consuming, and for me, money was less of an issue. But really, it's that time.
You don't get to put your flavor on it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's another thing too. Which in the beginning of gaming, that really bothered me. It's like, oh my god, we're always going with these net decks. This is lame. I'm never running a net deck. And when I got into Magic, I'm like, okay, let's take a look at some of these net decks. They're there for a reason. Well,
I think that's one of the things that Magic's really shown throughout the years. Like in Versus, you could always put your spin on something, like to an extent. I mean, if you splashed 2 cards, it was no big deal, like because you still had the core of your deck. Most of it was search based anyways, etc. So throwing some flavor in, there really wasn't that big of a deal. And Magic, you throw your flavor in a deck, and you basically become a Tim, and your deck sucks.
No, the thing is,
to an extent,
I think because Versus wasn't like deck lists and stuff, or PTQs never got out. I think it's just we see the pro circuit and like 10K tournaments and that's it. And like pros would put up decks on like forums like Versus Realms and stuff. And that's how we saw it. Most of the time you just have to build your own deck in Versus. In Magic it's like Pro Tour happens, all the best decks are out. You want to compete against those,
right.
And you do, and you get crushed.
Yeah.
And in Versus you had to worry about sabotage, like Whitman posting his Titans deck with wrong cards in it so that people would see, oh, I'm going to play this then. Show up with the exact opposite and crush the field. And
he didn't show up with the exact opposite. He showed up with cards that can beat the mirror.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that I'm
not faulting him for it. I'm just saying that you don't have to worry about that quote-unquote tactic in Magic because Magic is just like, there's a tournament. Okay, here's all the deck lists.
Yeah.
Like, there is no secrecy. There's no, the only secrecy you would have in Magic is if Rogue actually showed up ever at tourneys.
No, there's teams.
Yeah.
Like, pro teams would come in with a deck they think.
But that's only at like big events.
Yeah, Grand Prix and stuff. Yeah.
So the same thing. I'm just saying, like.
And in Versus, like I love making decks. I do make decks that are competitive, like thinking in mind, like, oh, this are the top decks. What do I do against this, and this? Like, what do I need in this deck to be able to beat those? And I know I want to make something unique. I hate mirror matches. Even in Magic, I kind of want to play a deck, even if it's not tier 1. It's like tier 1.5 or tier 2. But I don't want mirror matches, and I like to put my opponent on the back foot. Like, they don't know how to play against my deck. And in Magic especially, like people, if they haven't played against your deck, they don't know how to sideboard.
Right.
They don't know how to sequence their cards. For average gamers, there are good players that can adapt really fast.
But they're still going to have to at least start making educated guesses as opposed to knowing what.
Oh yeah, when you know your opponent's deck, like, okay, I've seen Brad Nelson in this matchup, and this is how he talked about it. So you already have this information from pros that grind all day on Magic online.
Right.
But if you show up with a deck they don't know, then you put your opponent on the spot. You have to adapt. It's not like the other pros that giving you information.
Right.
Yeah, like if you have a control shell, like, oh, it's turn 3, he has this much mana untapped. You already know what the chances are whether or not they have a counter spell or something like that. Yeah. Whereas you playing something, you're like, shit, nobody plays that color combination. What am I gonna do? So like,
yeah. So so what do you guys for like card gaming now? I mean, like for Hearthstone and stuff. Have you guys ever like You interested in playing a tournament in Hearthstone?
Yeah, I still haven't really gone that far to getting to legendary status, right? So I forget what my top was. It was 11, 13, something like that, and it was kind of early on, and I'm like, all right, I can see myself doing this, and then it just becomes this time suck, and then I'm like, okay, I can't, do this. I'm not hurting for cards, right?
Oh, yeah,
it's always time. It's always time.
It's time. Like, me and Glenn try. I don't try every month like Glenn. Sometimes I take a month break, especially the I always get to rank 2, 3. Even the highest I've gotten is rank 1 with 4 games away, and didn't get there.
Yeah.
And it's a backbreaker,
Right.
and I take a month break.
Right. Yeah.
Because it is a month long.
Yeah.
Like
You just
thing.
do it, and
it's
you do
so
it, and you do
long.
it, and you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just have to have patience. You're like one of our friends, Brian. He said,
Just
if
about
you
random.
can win 60%, 55%, you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Like at a time, and it's just gonna take a long time.
Right.
But you'll get there, and it's easy to get frustrated. To like, this card is not working, and you like change your cards around, and then makes your deck.
Right. Then you needed that card. Yeah.
So
Yeah, inevitably.
yeah, for Hearthstone, and I did sign up for a Hearthstone tournament.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right.
and end of the month.
Uh huh.
And the format's weird. You bring 3 decks,
Okay.
and your opponents bring 3 decks, and you have to win with every deck you brought.
Uh huh.
So if you brought Mage, Warrior, Paladin, right? You win with your Mage, you can't play that anymore. You have to win with your Warrior and Paladin. now.
Okay.
And then when you win with your Warrior, you can only play with your Paladin. And your opponent's trying to do the same.
Right.
So
Stay
also-
tuned for future episodes to find out what Brian decided to do as special tech.
Yes. And I feel like it's a weird format. Like the other formats I've seen in WoW tournaments are like they bring 5 decks, and then you get to ban
Right.
2 of
right.
them.
Yeah. Yes.
And then it's Pokemon style. And if you don't know what Pokemon style is, like if you win with your deck, with your Warrior deck, you can keep playing your War deck till you eliminate all your opponent's decks. So if their decks are like soft to Warrior control,
What Pikachu fuck you up.
yeah. And and this time around, it's like, it's weird. Like, oh, my Warrior control does well, but like my Paladin control is not doing well, and I still have to win with this
Right.
deck. So it's kind of odd, and I'm like playtesting with Glenn and stuff.
Right.
So
That's cool.
yeah, we'll see.
All right. Yeah. Love to hear more about that. As your practice, do you think you have your 3?
I do, but it's about 3 weeks away, so I'm not like so solidified on it.
Right.
So, and they did say in the tournament rules, like if BlackRock ever comes out, it's legal.
Oh, wow.
Because it's gonna be every Thursday night.
Uh huh.
You get to play like 1 to 2 matches, and then you wait next week again to like keep doing it for like 4 weeks or something, and then
Wow.
top 8 will play. After
Man,
that.
that'll be crazy. So halfway through, bam,
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
And you turn in your deck list like 20 minutes before the match.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So you're just sitting there. I've got to win this wing. I've got to win this wing for these 2 cards.
yeah.
Do that. All right. Interesting. So I think that's it for this week. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll have lots of links for you to post. We'll post lots of links because I know we talked about a lot of cards that you may not know or haven't seen. And by the time that you hear this, there'll probably be even more spoiled on there. So enjoy those links. Until next time, this has been the RNG Podcast.
Suck it.